Question, and this time we're going to start with Michael Fain. We're going to rotate. And the first question is, and we'll try to keep you, if you can answer it in a minute to 90 seconds, that would be great. Question number one, the school budget is dominated by fixed costs, salaries, health care, pension, with little room for educational additions, such as more course offerings and expanded arts education. How would you keep costs down while putting in place those educational extras that will help keep our school district on top? Michael?
Well, I think what we need to look at is some innovative ways to provide those course offerings outside of potentially just hiring a teacher in a classroom. A lot of offerings that we might want to be able to provide will, not all students will need it. We won't necessarily be able to fill up a classroom of 20 students, but we still want to be able to make that offering to our children. So we may be looking at New England Tech as an example of being able to provide online classes, potentially even students coming to New England Tech to be able to take certain classes, depending on, we'd have to see how that works. I don't think it's, in order to expand our offerings, as I said, we're not going to be able to just continue to hire more teachers and added classrooms. That's just not going to work. We're going to find some innovative approaches. I think online offerings is definitely one area we need to look at.
Ian, son, 60 to 90 seconds on what you do with the budget, how to keep costs down, and bring in some new programs, perhaps.
Sure. I think this is a challenging question because we would like to have more learning opportunities for our students and also be responsible for our budget. But can this be done? I think it can be because we can improve efficiency. As an example, by providing more learning opportunities, we can learn from other school districts. North Kingston, I think also Lincoln School District, they do offer online courses and offer independent courses, which does not require the school district spend a lot of money, maybe some money on that, but I think that will be a good opportunity, like I agree with Michael about this online learning opportunity. And also by training, I'm a computer engineer, I have been working on optimization problem under constraints all my career. So therefore, if we have a goal, in my opinion, the goal should be student-centric, should be the best interest of the student. We can also do some optimization, optimize our resource allocation. And we may not increase the total budget that much, but we can allocate our resource in a smart way that our students get more learning opportunities out of it.
Yeah, thank you. Kristen Meyer, your thoughts on the budget?
The budget, it's always a tricky thing. What we're now rolling into our high school is a one-to-one. We're now using our Google Chromebooks, which is, I've heard the kids at school really like that. So can we bring more courses in through online, through technology? How do we do that in the schools? I think that would definitely keep our costs down. I guess nowadays we have so much access to the technology, why not use it? Use what's available to us. Kids need to have other courses available to them. Arts are important, music is important, sports are important. So how do we still keep that in play without increasing the budget? We have the technology, let's use it.
Kristen, thank you. Jack, your thoughts?
The budget is 75% fixed with salaries and health care. So that leaves the other 25%, which you have to pay for busing, state mandates. So bottom line, you have between $4 and $5 million of discretionary money per year to spend. As far as course offerings without increasing cost, that is certainly doable. We do have our first online blended learning class in the math department this year with Ms. Dulac. Which I think is kind of a test to see if we can start a blended learning trend at the high school. Certainly blended learning is the direction of education across the board at the high school and the college level. And I think that's going to work its way down into the middle school, and who knows if it's going to go below that over time. but we have the platform to do that, so we can increase our course offerings without increasing our budget. That certainly is a plus. As far as opening dollars up to spend more money, as we say, inside the classroom instead of outside the classroom on overhead, that's where we have to have a sharp pencil and negotiate properly with our busing contract, our food service contractor, and that is, you know, nuts and bolts of how we have our procurement and how we manage that $6 million or $5 million roughly of discretionary funds available to us each year.
Jack, thank you. Let me bring the microphone. I guess we're moving this again, so I'll bring this back down here to our candidate, David Osborne, and let him address the budget issue as well.
Having worked managing federal and state agencies, I can tell you I've never seen a budget year where somebody came to us and said, oh, you can spend whatever you want. I've always operated under very tough budget constraints. It's just the way it is in the public sector. It certainly is the way it is in education. 80% of our school budget is people. And so when people start talking about, you know, we have to cut the school budget, we have to find ways to cut money out of the school budget, you're talking about teachers, you're talking about paraprofessionals, you're talking about aides and people who help our children. And so we have to be really, really careful about that before we get into anything recklessly like that. But there are lots of other opportunities that aren't necessarily people where there are possible savings. For example, in our energy and utility bills, I used to oversee 190 million square feet of state and commercial real estate. There are ways to cut your energy and water consumption, which then impacts your energy bills. You cut the energy costs from our schools by 10%. That's actually real money. The use of technology is also going to help us over time. Obviously, there are initial costs to bring in things like Chromebooks and other technologies into the classrooms. But over time, that will mean we'll be purchasing less textbooks. We'll be purchasing less materials because those materials are going to be coming to us electronically. And the other thing, I think there are opportunities to do a performance review. In other government agencies that I've worked with and in consulting capacities, I've worked with state governments and state agencies to take a really close look at budgets and find opportunities for budget savings. And I would certainly bring that experience and that eye to the school budget as well, without doing it in a way that's going to impact our classrooms and impact our students.
All right, I would ask.